Hi there. Welcome to this second lesson from unit number 2 from the intermediate level number 13. So before we begin, let's just take a quick look at the first section of this unit. And remember that we had some vocabulary and we had two different ways to give your opinion using gerund phrases, right? So either as the subject at the beginning or as the object at the end. Alright, so it was important to check the difference between both. And in this second lesson, we're going to take a look into this part of the unit. Alright, so gerund phrases and common expressions. Now here are some popular or common expressions for using gerund phrases. And the first section is as the subject. Remember, as the subject is this one. Subject, gerund phrase. Making a digital marketing career sounds quite interesting. So the gerund phrase will be at the beginning. That's why we have here as the subjects at the beginning. And as you can see, all of these examples have the same expression, the same gerund phrase. Working as an e-commerce specialist. Working as an e-commerce specialist. Working as an e-commerce specialist. So we have the same gerund expression. Remember that it is the subject. And now I'm going to give you the information or the most common expressions that you can include, okay, for your opinion. So you can have sounds, you could have could be, you could have would be, or seems, or must be. So these five words or these five expressions, you can use them to give your opinion about a specific gerund phrase. So sounds interesting, could be interesting, would be interesting, seems interesting, must be interesting. Now again, the description, obviously it doesn't have to be interesting the whole time. You can use different descriptions. So boring, exciting, I don't know, right? Depends. It really depends on your opinion. So we have here interesting, just to give you the idea that we can use different expressions. So we have sounds, could be, would be, seems, or must be. Okay, and here I wrote the same gerund phrase and the same description, but obviously you can use any kind of description and any kind of gerund phrase. Okay, so these are the most common expressions for subjects, and for the next part we have common expressions but for the objects. Okay, so as you can see, my object gerund phrase is exactly the same. Working as an e-commerce specialist. Working as an e-commerce specialist. Working as an e-commerce specialist, right? So all of these are exactly the same gerund phrase. In this case, it is the object, and here these expressions are the most common ones to use as your subject. So the first one, I'd love. The second one, she wouldn't like, or he wouldn't like, or they wouldn't like, or I wouldn't like. It really depends. We have he'd enjoy, or he would enjoy. Remember, this is the contraction. It could be he'd, or she'd, or they'd, or we'd, or I'd enjoy. Again, we have she'd be good at, or he'd be good at, or they'd be good at, or I'd be good at. We also have I'd be interested in, she'd be interested in, he'd be interested in, we'd be interested in, and we also have I get tired of. I'd get tired of, she'd get tired of, he'd get tired of. Okay, so you can use these expressions to begin your opinion using your gerund phrase next as the object. Okay, so for example, I'd love working as an e-commerce specialist, or she wouldn't like working as an e-commerce specialist, or he'd enjoy working as an e-commerce specialist, or she'd be good at working as an e-commerce specialist, or I'd be interested in working as an e-commerce specialist. And finally, I'd get tired of working as an e-commerce specialist. Alright, so just check these expressions. Those are some of the most common ones. Here as the subjects, sounds, could be, would be, seems, or must be. Obviously, you begin with your gerund phrase and then you use a different description. And in here, when we have the gerund phrase as the object at the end on this side, okay, then we use the subjects as our most common expressions. I'd love, she wouldn't like, he'd enjoy, she'd be good at, I'd be interested in, I'd get tired of. Okay, remember that you can use different pronouns depending on your opinion. Alright, so this is the end of this second lesson. I will see you for the final lesson, lesson number 3. See you.